Today we're going to use the solid tools, which allows you to kind of combine weird shape and subtract them from each other and whatnot. The solid tools are right here. If you don't have them, go to View, Toolbars, always large tool set. You always want the large tool set, but solid tools. Solid tools. Click on the solid tools right here and you will get this solid tools. Bam. So I'm going to make a couple of shapes. I'm going to make an oval. So I'll start with a circle, and I'm going to pull this up. This is a ginormous circle, by the way, it looks like. And I'm going to subtract it. Ooh, I'm not going to subtract it. I'm going to select it, and I am going to use the scale tool to kind of make it an oval. Bam. Bam. So now I have an oval. The important thing when you do these guys, I'm going to make it a group. And the important thing is when we do it, that it has to be solid. Okay. So solid means there's nothing like coming out of it, and there's nothing inside of it. So let's see if it's a solid. I click on this guy, and it says solid group. That's what you want. If it's not solid, make something else. I'm going to show, let me show you really quick what's not solid. I'll make a circle. I put a line inside of it. Bam. And I pull the circle up. Whoa, let's go. Bam. Bam. And I go bam. Make group. Bam. And let's see if this is a solid. Bam. Okay, so see, this guy is not a solid. This guy is a solid. This guy is not a solid. And the reason it's not a solid, if I go to X-ray, bam, I have that line inside of it, which makes it not solid. So if I go in now and I grab my eraser, whoa, I erased everything. That was not what I wanted. Let's double click on it to put it in edit mode. Now I erase it. Whoop. Now, if I go in, now it's a solid because there's nothing inside of it. Again, if I go in and I'm going to explode it, means ungroup it, I'm going to put a little line coming out of it. So that's this little tiny line going out of it. So now I select it, bam, make it a group, bam, and you can see this is no longer solid. It has that little line. If you have something that's not a solid, if you don't immediately see what's wrong with it, I would just do a new shape. You can fight why it's not solid forever, but sometimes you're just spending a lot of time. It might be faster to make a new one. So I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to delete it. Bam. So I have this guy as a solid. My oval is a solid. Okay, now I'm going to make my name. You have to do your, or my initials. You have to do your initials. So I'm going to grab a rectangle. I'm looking at the, whoa, yeah. I want it standing up. Bam. And then I just have to write my initials on it. So I go, I'll make some line. I'll go line, 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 line. Doesn't have to be super pretty. Bam, bam. It's not pretty, but that's okay. So T, bam, bam, bam. I'm doing the S the wrong way. I don't know how to write an S. Let me see. Bam, bam. It has to come down. I'm getting confused on how to make letters now. I'm making them backwards. We're going to start this way since we're having issues today. There we go. I can do an S if I do it this way. But I was obviously having some issues. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, good. So here are my beautiful initials. Now I'm going to erase the box around it. Bam. And I'm going to pull them out. So let's take them and go pull this guy out, pull this guy out. Perfect. So now it'll be interesting to see if it thinks this is, see these lines? It may not think that it's a solid anymore. I might have to erase those lines. I bet you it's not going to think it's solid. Let's see. This is a good test. Bam. Make group. See if it's a solid. Oh, well, it's a solid anyway. Even with these lines, this guy was a solid. Bam. We were successful. Who knew these things? Those lines might bother me anyway. So explode means ungroup. I'm going to take this line. I'm going to go delete. I'm going to take this line. I'm going to go delete. Whoa. I can't go delete. Control Z. So that line was obviously needed for something. Maybe the other one was needed for something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I have my two things. Let's make them a group. And hopefully it's still solid. I could have ruined it all. Make group. Let's see if it's a solid. Solid, 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 solid. Good. So check it out. Now I'm going to take this guy and move it into this. Bam. And then eventually I'm going to need a bunch of them. I should make this prettier, but it is what it is. Should I make it prettier? I don't know. Let me see where we are. Bam, bam, bam. No, we'll call this good. Just an exercise. Okay, so now I select these guys, not the person. I select these guys without the person. And I'm going to need I have 6 different tools. So I'm going to need about 6 or so of them. Control, bam, bam, times 6, bam. So now I have the same thing a bunch of times. Let's see how this works. Okay, so the first one, this guy, is an outer shell. I just combine these into one unit. So if I go in, click on this guy, outer shell, click on this guy. See, now this guy became one unit. So it's kind of like I made one solid group out of these two things. So, we could have probably done that by selecting them both and making a group. So this was not terribly exciting. So the next one, intersect, combine multiple intersecting solids and keep only the overlapping geometry. So if I do this guy, let's look at an X-ray view of this guy really quick. Well, we'll do it after I make this guy. So on this guy, I go click, click, click. Whoa. So let's see what happened here, right? So look, it kept only the overlapping. So it kept only what was inside of it. So I can cut different stuff out. If I had done it the other way, so see here I have my TS, it's only what was overlapping this way. So if I do Control Z, right, now it's back to where it was. If I subtracted it the other way, so I go click, click, and then this guy, click. What? It kept the same thing. Oh yeah, only the overlapping thing. Yeah, didn't matter which order I did it. Bam. So the intersect, whatever is intersecting in your model. So now I could have, for example, look, I have my name, but there's curved edges. So I can do something with curved edges. Okay, so the third one is the union. Combine them into one and maintain the interior geometry. So probably combines it into one, but this guy is going to remain inside. Let's see what happens. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, so let's see. So let's see if there's a difference between these two if I go into X-ray. So let me deselect it. So I go bam, X-ray. So you can see in the first one right here, right, the outer shell, the TS is not part of the inside of it. Well, it's not on this guy either. Well, so there didn't seem to be any difference between these two. Interesting, interesting. Bam. Okay, so now let's do a subtract. Bam. So I'm on this guy. So I go in. I want to subtract this guy, subtract this guy. So basically now, right, I subtracted this guy from that guy, which leaves me a hole in it all the way through. So I made a hole in a curved surface. So I can make complex things using this. a hole in the curve in the surface. If I've done it the other way, again, right? If I have subtracted this guy from this guy, let's see what happens. So I subtracted this guy from this guy. Now go bam, subtract this guy. So see, in this case, I got this guy, which is the opposite of these two. So these two pieces would fit into each other now. So I can subtract them in different ways. Which one do I want to subtract from which one? Bam. So these two are the opposite of each other, right? This guy would fit in either this guy or this guy. Interesting. Bam. Trim. Subtract one solid from a second solid. Keep the first and the resulting subtraction. Okay, whatever that means. Let's go in and go bam, 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 bam. So I kept both of them. But if I move this guy out, it didn't destroy the first one, right? So it's kind of the same as subtracting, but I keep the original piece. So trim. Bam. Good. And then the last one is a split. So I split it into all the parts whenever it overlaps. Bam. So I go into this guy. I go click, 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 click. Okay, so what did that do for me now? I go in and I can move this guy out of the way. So I have this piece, right? And that piece. And that piece. What? So basically all the different pieces. So I split all the different pieces apart. Yeah. So you're going to make an oval. You're going to make your initials. And you're going to use every one of these guys just to understand the solid tools.